Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, Internet peeps. Welcome to another edition of Big Trouble in Little Podcast. I am Joe Doves.
And I'm the other one, Andy.
The other one, Andy. And today, our movie that we watch this week is a ghost story. Today is Royal Rumble Sunday, and we are doing the show a little bit early. I might give you guys my prediction on who's going to win tonight. Actually, two winners, since there's a women's Royal Rumble and there's a men's Royal Rumble.
The double rumble.
Yeah, double rumble. The sandwich of the rumbles. Other than that, Andy, what the hell have you been playing or watching, or maybe doing nothing?
I saw two movies in the theater since our last episode, and I've been watching a bunch of anime and stuff like that.
You sent that message to me that one night.
Yeah, one of the animes I'm watching on Crunchyroll is Pop Team Epic, and it's absurdist humor. It's like skit based, and each episode is half an hour long. But at 15 minutes, it starts repeating the exact same episode, but the voices, instead of being women, are men, and there's like tiny differences to the jokes. Like some of them have different punchlines and stuff like that. It's really weird, but I think it's fucking hilarious, but it's not for everyone. I watched a bunch of Fist of the North Star just because, when you get drunk, that you got to watch something like Fist of the North Star. I watched Paprika, which is a movie from Satoichi Kon, one of my favorite anime directors, maybe one of my favorite directors. It's not his best one, but it's like the only one that you can freaking buy. All of his other movies are out of print. And I want to get Perfect Blue, but it's like for a used European DVD, not a Blu-ray, not domestic, none of that. For a used European DVD, it starts at like $55, and I don't have that much money for one movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the theaters and I saw Phantom Thread, which was fantastic. I've been thinking about it a lot. I don't really know what to think about it yet. I saw Hostels, which is good. It's it didn't knock my socks off, but it's pretty good.
Excuse me.
And then NXT, of course, which we both saw. And I started Nier Automata. I don't know. I've heard it pronounced Automata and Automata. I've been saying Automata.
Yeah, we need a Japanese guy to go, what is it? What is it really? And then he'd probably say it like totally different than all Americans.
I don't think it's a Japanese word, is it?
Maybe? No, Automata I think is something to do with droids or something.
Yeah, it's like it's from automaton, I think, which is European, maybe.
Interesting.
It's the plural of automaton. Automata is the plural, according to Google. A moving mechanical device made in imitation of a human being. Synonyms: robot, android, cyborg, droid, bot.
There's a one movie, I think it's called Automata, with God.
It came out in 2014. It also came up in my Google search.
It's a Spanish guy. I forget his name, but anyway. It says
Antonio Banderas produced it. It says
he stars in it.
Oh,
too.
He's in it. Yeah, he's in it. I see that now.
Antonio Banderas. I forgot his name.
But the game is really interesting so far. I'm not that far. I embarrassingly, in the prologue, if you die, you start over completely. Like you gotta redo everything. And I died like a chump. Like I died in kind of a dumb way. I should have been paying more attention, and then I had to redo it. So basically, all I've done is the prologue so far.
I heard it's a pretty challenging game, but I heard there's like a small minority. Well, not a small, but like to the whole community, like it's a gem. Like it's a good game.
Yeah, it keeps getting like George from Super Bunny Hop said it was his game of the year, and then Jim Sterling gave it one of the best 5 games of the year, and it's on a bunch of people's like best of lists and stuff like that. And I bought it like months ago, meaning to play it, and I finally started it. And yeah, it's something else so far, which I really like. I've played. At first I thought, oh, it's just a third-person action game, a hacky slashy game, whatever. But when you start the game, you're like in a ship and you're in a top-down shooter, and I was like, is this the right game? What am I playing? It's really cool though. It's really cool.
Yeah. So what do you think of NXT TakeOver?
I really liked it. Let's see. There was only one match I didn't really like, and I can't remember who was in it. But everything else I liked pretty well.
Well, the first match, I believe, were Authors of Pain versus.
Yeah, that one's great. The first match was great.
And then you had Ember Moon versus Basler, which I thought was really. It was okay. It wasn't.
Yeah, that one was just okay. Like I kind of assumed from the get go that Ember Moon was going to win. It seemed too much like a goofy cross promotion kind of thing. We don't really want to keep this woman, but
yeah. Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black.
Aleister Black. That one was awesome because I love both. No, Aleister Black. That's who it was in the last takeover. It was Velveteen Dream and
Shit. Why am I drawing blanks today? I know Aleister Black was versus Adam Cole. That was like one of the two matches that I really, really liked. Yeah. Fuck it doesn't really matter. But the matches that do matter is Aleister Black versus Adam Cole, baby, and an Extreme Rules match. I thought the two chairs together and Aleister Black like putting Adam Cole's back on there, I was like, ow, motherfucker.
I was out of the room for that, which was disappointing. But we were watching NXT and also trying to like cook a meal, so I was like in and out.
I was guessing you were at Zach's place or something.
Well, Zach was there, but we were at a friend's place.
Oh, okay. But the main event with Johnny Gargano and fucking Cien Almas and all that stuff, and Selena Vega as the manager and stuff. That match was really long but awesome. Like,
yeah, the final match was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, and Johnny Gargano's girlfriend, who's also a wrestler, beat the shit out of Selena Vega, which was awesome. But the ending like threw me for a loop. Like, I didn't really agree with the ending, but I was like,
me neither. Pretty much the whole room when we were watching it, we were disappointed in the result.
WWE always does this, and I guess it's good for like storytelling in a way.
Sure.
But Philly was going crazy, absolutely fucking crazy. Like, they did not want Cien Almas to win. And I felt like WWE was like, we got to give it to Cien Almas because fuck the fans.
Sort of. I hated that the announcers so early in the match compared him to the way that Daniel Bryan started coming up, and I'm worried that they're going to try to recreate the Daniel Bryan story with him. Like, oh, he lost, now he's getting cheated. Oh, he won, we all love him.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want them to do that. I want it to be its own story, but I don't know. They're stupid and hack writers, and I hate them. But usually NXT is the exception, so I don't know.
Yeah, WWE has a thing where it's like, we have to have cookie cutter feuds and stuff. So when you see other feuds happening, you'd be like, oh, that was like Daniel Bryan, or oh, that was like Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon, and I'm just like,
yeah, they've got like 5, 6, maybe 7 stories, and they just do variations on all of them forever, and it's a bummer.
And if I get it, like, fan fictions are like out of there, like out there, and sometimes it can't happen, but like some of the fan fictions that they come up with and stuff is way better than what the WWE writers do. And what I've heard is that the WWE writers are pretty much writers from like TV shows like Breaking Bad and all that stuff. And I get that you're trying to make it more entertainment, but I'm guessing they don't know how to write wrestling.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. I understand. There's got to be a limited amount of ways that you can write, this guy wants to beat this guy up, and then he tries to, and then he either does or doesn't. But I don't know. It's so samey, and the whole product is kind of stagnant and boring to me. I don't know. It's just my opinion. Some people love it still, so whatever.
There's only I agree with you, but NXT is kind of like the exception because all the wrestlers have good gimmicks. All of them.
All of them.
And when you go to the main roster, some of them bring their persona there, but they're not really the persona that they were in NXT.
Yeah, they're always like a toned-down version or something.
Mm-hmm. And then either they become the comedy act or you just don't see them on TV at all. And like the gimmicks that Vince McMahon and the other people come up with in the main roster is just, it doesn't connect with anybody. It's like you have the fashion police, which is awesome in my opinion. It's just like gay police strippers as a tag team. I know that's Vince just being funny and everything. Then you had the Blood Ring Brothers or something like that, where they're kind of like medieval and they have these hammers and stuff. It's pretty cool, but I feel like Vince like started World of Warcraft and he's like, I want to make a tag team out of that or something like that. It's just
Whatever. I don't keep up with the main product anymore. I don't want to talk about wrestling too much. NXT is awesome, love it, but
yeah.
the main product, whatever. I don't want to waste my time talking about that. I'd rather talk about movies
Yes,
or other games. Did you play or watch anything this week?
my friend is playing Link to the Past, the randomizer thing, Rando. I don't know if you heard
Oh
it.
yeah, I watched some of that streamed once.
Yeah, so he's streaming, and I was like, I'm not gonna play Link to the Past because that's a really long game for me to play right now.
It's not that long.
It's I remember it being long.
Well, you were a kid. Hang on
Yeah.
a second.
But I decided to get a Super NES emulator because a PlayStation 1 emulator, the ROMs take forever to download.
Mm.
The ROMs on SNES though take a second. So I downloaded 3 games to just try out and stuff. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, RoboCop versus Terminator, and Spider-Man.
The absolute longest that Legend of Zelda can take to beat, on average, this is from howlongtobeat.com, main story, 15 and a half. Main plus extra, 17 and a half. That's not that long. That is a short-ass game.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I remember just...
No, what the fuck?
Somebody calling you.
I don't know how to make this stop.
You hit the red button.
Oh, there we go.
And you were asking before we aired, am I using a USB controller? And I'm using my PS4 controller. You can configure the buttons and stuff, and it seems okay, but I kind of want to get a USB controller that kind of looks like an SNES controller.
Yeah, they're usually. I mean, you can get a cheapo one, but you should get one from damn it, what's the name of that company? Retrobit or something like that. They've been making a bunch of really good controllers, and they work not just on the PC, but you could use it for your Switch or your PS4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to I want to play games that I didn't get to play on SNES, so I'm probably gonna go research some games, the list and everything, and see what I might be interested in. Maybe stream them, or maybe make a YouTube video out of it. But yeah, I mean, no, I should not be stacking more games on my backlog, but
Whatever.
retro games are easier and not easier, but quicker than some of these like 8 or 10 hour games, open worlds that I need to play.
Yeah, and they're kind of how to put this. They're kind of more rewarding in a way. It's a more condensed thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like you could beat Link to the Past in 18 hours and feel really good about that game because that game's a lot of fun. It's a classic.
Mm-hmm. And what is your number one game that you like on Super NES?
Oh Jesus.
Not number one, but maybe like name like honorable mentions.
Oh, Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy 2, Link to the Past. Yeah.
Super Metroid.
Yeah. Super Metroid. I think Chrono Trigger is probably my favorite. It seems like the more I think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Mega Man X. Mega Man X is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to look at the games on my shelf, but they're turned weird and I can't see all the titles. Castlevania 4. It's another classic.
Castlevania 4. All right. Well, I'm probably gonna like download more ROMs today. Anyway, let's get into our movie of the week. And my voice just cracked. That's cool.
Let's get into the movie.
So, Andy, it was your pick this week.
It was.
And it's a ghost story. So, Andy, take it away. What was this movie about? Or just go in any direction you want to go.
I mean, I guess in a nutshell, this movie has a really simple plot. It's two people are living together, and they love each other, and the guy dies in a car accident, and it's about him being a ghost and kind of like lingering. I don't know how much I want to say. I kind of want to discuss the movie and reveal the plot organically, because at first it really just seems like, oh, he's going to just haunt this house and she's going to be sad and then the movie's going to end. And it is not about that at all. It goes way beyond that.
Mm-hmm. I want to get off the right at the start. The beginning, I almost turned off this movie.
Yeah, the beginning of this movie's boring. Like, I understand you have to set up that they love each other, and that part's boring. And then, like, he dies, and they're in the hospital, and then she eats most of a pie, and it takes like 5 minutes. And like,
Seven. I
it's
counted.
emotional, and I get it, but come on, get to the point. But everything after that, like, as soon as she gets done eating that pie, the movie picks up big time. Like, it's like, I don't know. I got weepy. This movie's really good. I was thinking about it. I think this is the saddest movie that I can see myself rewatching, if that makes any sense. I've seen movies that are really sad, and I'm like, oh, I'm never watching that again. That movie was an ordeal, but it was a great movie. This movie I enjoyed to the point where I could see myself a year or two down the road watching it again.
I felt like this movie reinvented how we think of ghosts a little bit, in my opinion. Because in most movies, like haunting and stuff, like you think about like apparitions of people looking like themselves, you know, talking. There was no talking from this ghost at
It,
all.
I really like it's so disarming that he's just a guy in a sheet. Like,
Mm,
he looks like a child's crayon drawing of what a ghost should be.
mm,
But if he was like a crazy CG, transparent, scary ghost, or just like a opaque, or not opaque, transparent version of himself or something like that, I don't think the movie would have had the same feel. And speaking of feel, it's shot in 4:3 with like rounded corners. And I thought that would be really distracting, but I completely forgot that it was shot that way, except for like one or two parts of the movie.
yeah.
It looks more like it's more like a photo or something. It's kind, I hate to quote something I heard someone else say about this movie, but it's kind of more a more intimate framing, which makes a lot of sense for the story in this movie.
And it's really cool how you're following these two people and then you're following the ghost pretty much for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Um but then it's like it's not about the people, it's about the history of the house.
Yeah, it ends up being about this place, and he is there to witness what's going. I mean, it's still kind of about him. Obviously, it's about the ghost. It's hard to say like whether or not the ghost is the person, because you start getting the impression that the ghost is him, but like ghosts kind of forget things, or they're driven by unfinished business. You know, like he has an obvious goal in this movie, and then, obviously we always say spoilers, so spoilers, but like when he at the end of the movie, when he completes that business, he disappears. I assume goes into the afterlife, heaven or oblivion or whatever.
Yeah, when he first, when he dies and he's in the hospital and he sees that like kind of like fourth dimension door of light.
Yeah, like a door opens, like it's the way to reincarnation or the afterlife or whatever it is, and he doesn't go.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was like a really good showing of being like I'm not ready for heaven yet or whatever
Yeah. Yeah, he
afterlife.
had unfinished. He was clinging to this plane of existence, and then also, I guess ghosts can like get distracted or not really, because there's the ghost next door, which is one of my favorite elements of the movie.
Yeah, and it's like showing, hey, there's other ghosts out here, and they kind of did speak in whatever, like,
Yeah,
like,
I don't. I really liked it, but if someone asked me why I like that, I wouldn't be able to tell them why. He's in his house, and it's empty, and he looks out the window, and there's a ghost in the window in the house next door. And for some reason they can communicate, but it's just subtitles. All they do is look at each other, and it's just a shot of a ghost standing in a window, and they like wave, and it says hello and hi, and then the ghost in the other house says they're waiting for someone, and he says who, and they say they can't remember. and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of it. And then you see that ghost again later, but it's I guess it's to indicate like they have a general feeling of what they need to get done.
Well, I kind of like the sense of like time too kind of gets lost a little bit when you're in the ghost world, I guess, because
Oh yeah, they jump around a lot, like forward many years and stuff.
because there's one point where right after his girlfriend goes on with that guy to live their life, and he's like staring at something, and all of a sudden you just see the people come in the door, and then he's staring at another thing, and then it's like Christmas time, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's another interesting thing. Maybe they're just speeding up time for us again, so finally we don't get like 10-minute like kissing scenes and 7-minute
Yeah, I
fight.
wondered that too. Like, is that his perception of time, or are they doing that for the sake of the viewer? Like, are they saying, okay, time passed, it's Christmas, okay, some more time passed, it's not winter anymore? Or is it like that's just the way that ghosts exist or something?
I would like to think it that way because just how the director did in the beginning, I wouldn't think he would speed it up finally.
Mm.
Or maybe like the producer is like, "Hey, dude, you had like a 7-minute pie eating scene. Let's speed this up a little bit."
It kind of makes it a little more like not spooky, but like mystical, if that's the way it is. Like the ghosts have this tenuous grasp on reality, so they kind of jump forward a little bit. Also, that poor family, he was such an asshole to them.
I I uh, that kind of pissed me off a little bit because I would rather have him do it to those party people than the
Yeah,
family.
yeah, we don't really see what happens to them, but I guess the point is he's haunting this house, and I kind of get it. Like you hear about a house being haunted, and that's the kind of stuff that happens. And when you see it from his point of view, it's like he's heartbroken or whatever, and he's like, "This is my house. I don't want these people in here."
Well, I would like to think like when he and by the way, when he gets out of the hospital, I do love the scenes where it's showing him traveling to the house.
Yeah, he just walks there.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
and I was like, that's awesome. But anyway, I felt like when he went to the house, and maybe he didn't realize he was a ghost yet. I don't know, but he's looking at his girlfriend or wife, whatever, and I think he's waiting for her to like notice him in a way. I mean, he's not trying to like be like, "Hey, I'm here," and waving his hands and everything, but
Yeah,
it feels like he was like, "I'm here. What are you doing?"
there's a lot in this movie that you as the viewer have to do yourself, which normally that would kind of be a criticism, but I think is one of this movie's best strengths
Hmm.
is that when you're watching it you have to infer a lot of stuff. Like if you're bad at empathy, if you can't feel for characters in a fiction, then this isn't going to be the movie for you. But if you understand what empathy is and you have it, then you'll love this movie.
Yeah, and I thought the party scene where the guy was like ranting about stuff,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. Just the things, just the way he looks, and then like the stuff that he was saying, because I was
Yeah,
just
like I wanted to hate him, but it was interesting.
yeah, because in a way he's kind of right. He's like,
Right.
when shit goes to hell and global warming happens, which was this example. Um, he's like, we're all gonna be singing or humming Beethoven to kind of remember our past,
Yep.
and I guess that's what clicks in the ghost's head, and he's like, yeah, it's about history. The only thing I had a confusing thing about in the movie is when he was having flashbacks of like fights with his girlfriends or girlfriend,
Yeah.
and she's like, why am I making all the decisions? And you know, I don't
Well,
know.
she wanted to move and he wanted to stay in that house.
So was that
I guess. I think I just kind of took it to be more of like they were together. It wasn't perfect, but what is kind of thing.
mm-hmm. And what was really cool is also is when they tore down the house, and he kind of lives when it's getting built into a skyscraper, and you kind of see the future, which I thought that shot was awesome
Yeah.
of the future, and seeing like all those corporations and stuff.
there's more than one part of this movie that it feels like a lesser movie would have ended. Like when she leaves and he's standing there watching her go for the last time, part of me thought for a second that that was going to be the end of the movie. But then, then it keeps going, and I realized, oh, like only 45 minutes have passed. Of course the movie's not over. And then when they tear down the house and the other ghost is like, I don't think they're coming, and then disappears, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, no, this is going to be the end of the movie. But then it keeps going again.
Mm-hmm. And then there was kind of a twist a little bit, um,
I
because
still don't understand the time thing. Is
yeah,
that what you're going to talk about?
yeah, because in the beginning of the movie, before he gets in the car accident, they're sleeping, and then all of a sudden they hear a bang, and he goes, "Well, something hit the piano,"
Yeah.
and to kind of rewind a little bit back too is like when he's at the skyscraper and then he goes back in time before the house is built and everything. That's the history. Like he was at the end,
Yeah.
which is pretty
We,
much the.
we've been jumping around a lot, but just in case you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie, which you should, it's really good. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, it's not going to cost you anything to watch, and it's pretty short, I think. But he dies. He starts haunting the house. He watches as his girl, I think it's girlfriend, kind of like moves on. Then another family lives there, and he kind of like poltergeists them a little bit, and they move out, and then some other people move in, and then they move out, and time passes. They tear the house down, then they build a skyscraper where it and the house next door and several other places were, and then he kind of like haunts the skyscraper briefly and just kind of screws around, and then you see that it's like in the future, like you see the skyline, and it's all neon and crazy and stuff, and then he jumps from the top of the skyscraper. Oh, excuse me. He jumps from the top of the skyscraper, and then for some reason he's in like um pioneer times. I know that's a really vague term, but like some guy, he's just standing in a field, presumably the field where the house is, and a guy like puts stakes down, and he's dressed like at first I thought he was an Amish guy, but then I later realized, oh, he's a settler,
Mhm.
and he and his family like camp there for the night, and then they're killed by Indians. And I just this second realized, at first I was really confused because he sees the little girl write something on a piece of paper and then she puts it under a rock.
Mhm.
And I think that was the trigger that reminded him what his unfinished business was. He's like, oh, that's right. I want to see. Right before his girlfriend leaves the house, she has to repaint parts of the house for the landlord. And she writes something on a strip of paper, shoves it in the wall, and then kind of paints over it. And he
Mhm.
wants to see what's on that piece of paper. That's his unfinished business. So I think him seeing the little girl do that reminded him of it. Because at first I was confused. What was the significance of that? It's not like he ever sees what's on that piece of paper. And I think that reminded him what he wanted to do.
Mhm.
And then he starts jumping forward in time. Again, like time speeds past. The family is slaughtered by Indians. He kind of like watches them decay. Then the house is built, and then in a really weird twist, he watches as he and his girlfriend move into the house, spend a bunch of time there together, and then he watches himself as a ghost in the house after he has died. It's really weird.
Well, what's funny is in the beginning of the movie, it doesn't like Casey Affleck ask the girlfriend, he's like, "So why do you keep on moving?" or something like that,
Hmm.
and she's like, "I don't know, like weird noises and ghosts and stuff. I don't know." And I guess because of the loop of time, maybe he did follow her.
I think it's revealed, like, they get up in the middle of the night at the beginning of the movie because it sounds like something fell on the piano. It was him. Like, it was his ghost. Like, he says when they're asleep, it's like, okay, we'll move. And then he feels defeated because he realizes that they're going to leave the house, which is where he is. And he kind of flumps down next to the piano. And it turns out that he was haunting himself, sort of, I guess.
Uh huh. And
And
and that's kind of cool because if we go back to our review or our talking before, the ghosts forget things, and
yeah,
you know, in our minds, we like, oh, we could if we are aware of this time loop kind of thing. Let's change the timeline so like I don't get in a car accident or, uh, you know, she doesn't leave the house in some way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think I don't. The rules were a little confusing. Like the rules, like the physics of the universe that this movie takes place in. But I don't think he's able to change the flow of time. But I don't know if he realizes that. I think like everything's preset and like the loop already existed. Like him falling onto the piano is what set certain things in motion anyway. So he has to do it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on his which him we're talking about, it happens at different times. And then yeah, just to close it off again, if you haven't seen the movie, totally do it. But at the end, he does finally get into the wall and he looks at the strip of paper, and it's so cool that they don't show you what's on it. He just looks at it and then immediately like is gone, as if his business is finished and he gets to move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
But guessing, what do you think she might have said? Like,
I don't know. I was thinking about that the whole movie, and like the obvious thing would be like something like, I don't know, I love you, or I'll always remember you. Um, I'll remember this house or the time we spent in it together, or something like that. And it might even be something mundane. It could have been anything in the world. I guess his unfinished business was, well, it seems like his unfinished business was to see what was on it, but I feel like it has to be something to do with their relationship, because that's why he stayed to haunt in the first place, is because he couldn't give her up.
mm-hmm.
So
Imagine
something
said
like,
you'll go down with this house. I mean, to me, I felt like their relationship wasn't that really great. Like it started getting good, uh, right before he died, pretty much. And
I, don't, I think it was really good, and that's what the beginning was trying to show us. It's just it was boring.
mm-hmm.
And I think for you to understand how good their relationship was, the beginning of the movie would have had to have been longer, and I like it better the way it is. Like I got the point. The movie told me these two people love each other and they're happy together and they bicker, but it's mostly about moving out of this house, and that's a story element. And but it doesn't matter. They love each other, and that's the point.
It ended up
So
being
I get it.
it ended up being a romance, by the way.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah,
It was a good romance.
yeah. I
Nothing.
I, I don't mean that in a derogatory term. At least I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't your typical like boy fell in love with girl and like things got happy.
It's more. It's not about two people falling in love. It's more about someone. What's the way to put it? Like dealing with love. It's about attachment. And I saw somewhere had a really good synopsis for this. Or was it Google? I don't know.
It's
A
all.
passionate young couple unexpectedly separated by a shocking loss discover an eternal connection and a love that is, nah, that's stupid. That's a stupid one. I don't know where I saw it. Something was talking about how the movie is about connection, and man, I can't remember it at all. I just remember reading it and be like, oh, it's really good. That's really succinct. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. It's all also about accepting what you know is pretty much like she had to
Yeah.
accept that he was dead and that she needed to move out. He had to accept that he's dead and he has to find that note that she left and go to the afterlife and also
Yeah.
let her live her own life.
Yeah. There's so many really great movies about loss, and it's interesting that this is a really great movie about the other side of loss.
Mm-hmm. And I love how this movie just portrayed this whole like ghost stuff, like
Yeah.
the sheet. I thought that was really awesome, and
I would have never thought of that. Like if someone was like, "Oh, just portray your ghost as a guy in a sheet," I'd be like, "No, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that."
mm-hmm.
But this is great.
Yeah, because even the acting was pretty good. Like you just see the guy standing with a sheet over his head, and they all just like stared at.
Speaking of just having a guy with a sheet over his head, the budget for this movie was just $100,000.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense though. It made 1.9 million.
And I bet you like uh it was 100 grand. I want to say it.
Also, the director looks really weird.
Yeah, some of his films I don't even know, but They
Oh, he
probably
did that Pete's Dragon remake in 2016.
yeah. Most of the budget probably went towards Casey Affleck and the other actress.
Yeah, I'm,
And
I'm I'm sure that was a big part of it. And then they bought this house and tore it down. I'm sure that was the rest of it, pretty much.
yeah, and then they were like, "Oh, we got 1.9 million." It's a really awesome flick, guys. Like, if you get past the beginning, you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
just muscle through the beginning. Like, pay attention because it's it's giving you all the pieces to this puzzle you're gonna love solving. It's just being given the pieces is boring.
Mm-hmm. So you recommend it?
Absolutely.
I recommend it also. Um, yeah. So that was our movie of the week. Next week's movie is going to be The Salvation with Mads Mikkelsen.
Mickelson.
Yeah, and it's a western. It's our
It's
first.
on Netflix.
Yep, and it's a western. So our first western of Big Trouble in Little Podcast. Can't wait for
I
that.
hope it's great. Like I said, I saw Hostels when I saw that yesterday. That's a western that's in theaters right now, and it was really good, but it wasn't great. And I have an itch now. I got to see a great western. I'm probably gonna end up just watching Tombstone or something.
I love Tombstone.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Let's get into some news that matter to us. And I saw this early in the week. John Cena might star in the Duke Nukem movie.
Was that for real? I saw that too, and I remember thinking, "Oh, that's not gonna happen."
I agree he has the look, but I don't see him having. You have to have the original voice actor. You should make this like a CGI Duke Nukem, or maybe animated in some way.
A CGI Duke Nukem movie would be perfect.
Yeah, because you're gonna have John Cena, and it's just gonna sound like John Cena just saying Duke Nukem stuff.
I don't feel like they're gonna let John Cena do it. I feel like I assume he has some kind of like an image contract or something like that. And I don't think he's going to be able to say a lot of the things that Duke Nukem says.
Yeah, and it's all about saying a lot of nasty things, and this has to be a rated R film. I'm sorry,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
because there's
I don't think that's a good, like, I think people see that he has like a chin and stuff like that. It'd be a good one. I don't know. That's not going to happen. That's impossible.
yeah, I just can't see him saying, "I'm John Cena, and I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum." I don't know, but one scary thing that I see here is that Michael Bay's production company is doing the Duke Nukem movie, and I'm just like,
Interesting.
why?
I mean, honestly, I don't respect Michael. Oh no, I take that back. I do respect Michael Bay. I don't like Michael Bay. Like, he knows how to make the movies he makes,
Mhm.
and Duke Nukem could be one of those movies. I guess I don't know. He produced the first, well, both Ninja Turtles movies. I kind of liked the first one. It was fine. It was pretty good. So maybe it's possible.
Maybe, but what do you call it? What was that one movie with Benghazi? Shit, something minutes. Anyway, he does good films when it has nothing to do with nerdy shit. I mean, Ninja Turtles was okay, but still, it puts a spin on the Ninja Turtles in a way the Ninja Turtles didn't look like turtles at all. Um, but God, by God, Transformers, he fucking ruined that franchise.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Transformers movie since the second one. And
Yeah,
I don't really want to.
I don't know what I just I don't agree with John Cena as Duke Nukem at all.
I don't think you have to agree. I just think it's impossible.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna quit the WWE so he can do that. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know.
right. That would be a stupid career move.
Yep.
He's
Uh,
more savvy than that.
moving on to other like wrestling kind of news. Vince McMahon did a press conference like 3 days ago. The XFL's coming back.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how I think about this. I think it's really cool that it's coming back.
Yeah, so far I think it's hilarious and awesome. Like, I don't think it's gonna do that well, but god damn it, I'm excited.
Yeah. After he announced it, pretty much he says that he wants to listen to the fans. That it's coming out in 2020. So it's enough time to like gather information and put people in place that are going to do it. By the way, he's not going to be running it. He's not going to be the front guy. He's going to hire somebody to be there. So he's just funding it. He's going to be doing. He's still going to be doing WWE, doing all booking and stuff. So there was a lot of dream going on, saying that he's going to go do XFL.
Step away.
Yeah, but that's not happening. So that was a bummer.
This is a good time for him to make this announcement, though, because famously so, viewership of the NFL is down. So it's a reasonable move. Like, if he was ever going to do it, it seems like now's the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame that they can't go live with it next football season, but yeah.
Yeah, because the NFL could change around and they could all of a sudden become like patriotic and stuff and stand, with police officers, kind of get the Republican viewers back there pretty much. Because let's get straight into it. The main reason why NFL is kind of going down, not because of the rules and stuff, but because of the players kneeling and having all that protesting that was going on in the field.
That's a big factor.
Yeah.
I think it's because something like that is polarizing the fans. Like, now you have to either be on their side or not. You can't just watch a sport. Like, I don't watch professional sports to make a patriotic statement. Like, I don't want to be like, well, I definitely watch NFL because I agree or disagree with this. I just want to watch football, man. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I have an opinion about violence and police and stuff like that, but I don't need it involved with football. That's ridiculous.
And that's what Vince McMahon said when he got asked, like, what is your, political views? What's going to be happening in this league? He's like, there ain't going to be no politics on the field. We're going to be playing football. And
yeah, that's what they should do.
Yeah, and I like that statement. And they kept on pushing the fact, well, are you going to be forcing and making a rule that, the players are going to be standing during the national anthem? He's like, pretty much he gave a long answer, but he's pretty much saying, yes, they're going to be standing. Kind of like showing his view, but he kind of made it vague a little bit. So it could change down the road where, he's making free speech and stuff. But we
got like 2 years before we know. So
yeah, he also made it clear that, free speech or like kind of like the protesting on the field is not going to be happening. He said it could happen on Twitter, Facebook, or in the locker room. Just can't be happening on the field. And just I agree with that.
Players off the field for the national anthem. Problem solved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's gonna be 8 teams apparently. And
have they said what cities they're going to be based out of yet?
No, this is the research that they're going to be doing.
That's exciting though. I want to hear about that.
My guess is that they're going to hit all the big cities first.
I guess there's certain areas of the country that are starved for a professional team, and I'm not talking about give bumfuck nowhere a team, give wherever in Montana a team, give West Virginia a team. I'm not talking about that. There are still urban areas in this country that are starved for professional teams.
I say
so it would be interesting to see some of them get one.
I say the Cleveland Browns just go to XFL. Maybe they can make the playoffs finally. But anyway, I'm interested on what the XFL is going to bring as the dog is barking.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of a we'll see and hope for the best because competition is good in America.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. The worst thing that could come of this is XFL comes out and it sucks and no one cares, but at least it makes NFL try harder.
Uh-huh. And like I said, the competition brings out the best. I mean, that's what happened in WWE versus WCW on Monday Night Wars.
We're talking about wrestling a lot on this episode.
Yep, it was a wrestling extravaganza. Final quick news I want to talk about. It's really stupid, and we always talk about this in every news possible. But Bill and Ted 3 is struggling trying to get filming and stuff. And that's because Hollywood does not want to do a sequel. They want to do a reboot.
Boo!
And it's fucking dumb. because Hollywood does not have. I mean, I get it. It's an old movie, and maybe the new crowd won't know about it. But you can pretty much have Keanu Reeves and I forget who the other guy was. Come back and reprise their role and pretty much introduce a new Bill and Ted kind of. Maybe they're kids or something.
Sure, that'd be fun.
And do something like that, or just have them two older and doing something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to have a connection. Basically, if you want to make a Bill and Ted movie, it needs to be connected to the other Bill and Teds. If you want to make a reboot or redo, just write something new. Just have it in that spirit, but don't be a slave to what happened in Bill and Ted. That's stupid.
Yeah, they kind of a reboot's gonna kill it. Nobody's gonna go see it because people are gonna be like, "Well, what is Bill and Ted?" And this is really dumb. And they're probably gonna have like Bill and Ted go back to to the past and stuff, and it's gonna be having all these like rap music and hip hop and stuff. I don't know. I just wanted to mention it because I was really really bummed out about this, and this is how Hollywood is thinking. It's like let's not continue a great story. Let's just reboot everything.
Stupid.
Yep, and that's all I have to say about that.
I agree. We agree on a lot of things. Usually there's some debate, but this is the wrestling and agreeing.
Yeah, we'll come up with a better story, or not story, things to talk about that we are opposite about to make it more interesting. On that note, guys, I think we're gonna end the episode here. I'm working on some stuff, but I don't have anything to announce yet. Andy, do you have anything you're working on, or just?
I'm working on watching movies.
Yep.
No, nothing particular.
Yep. And next week's episode will be The Salvation on Netflix. Remember to watch it. And remember to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you have anything you want to say to us, just reply to us in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about it on air.
Yeah. We probably will, honestly. We're starved for attention.
Yep. We're attention whores. But anyway, have a good day, everybody. I'm used to saying good night.
Yeah. Go watch that Rumble.
Yep. Royal Rumble. Oh,
you forgot to give your predictions.
Oh, yeah. Women's prediction, Ronda Rousey.
Boo. Stupid.
And men's prediction, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yay! My favorite.
Yep. Because it's going to be AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And on that note, everybody, have a good day.
See ya. Thanks for listening.